Today, we're going to go over some BTC news that is probably the biggest Bitcoin news that's been out. I believe it's been overlooked. We covered it in some other videos, but we didn't put anything in the title about Bitcoin, and we felt like we didn't serve ourselves and the community as well as by producing this particular video, because what we're going to show you is that Bitcoin is now, not by itself, but through this mechanism, ISO 20022 compliant, and Bitcoin can be sent cross-border or whatever at a speed of 2,000 TPS and up to 1 million TPS, which changes the whole scenario, because most people that are into utility coins are not Bitcoin maxis. But I'm telling you, this is a game changer. If it ends up being adopted, this particular use case is going to blow up the way that this is done. It's going to blow up another coin too. And that's what we're going to get into today. Max has dug this up, and I think it's fantastic news. And he is a great researcher and a very highly educated man, Mr. Maximus Crypto.
He basically verifies what Will's talking about. Okay, so there's the whole thing of IBAN. There it is. There it literally is. All right, frozen frame. As we see, I'm gonna full screen this real quick, Will. It says a wrapped version of BTC. You see the orchestration through XDC, and then later on, he goes into the whole thing of, right here. Let's freeze the frame. Instant settlement with message. So, I mean, to me, this pounds home the whole concept of BTC. So that's the trust layer. So where we're leaving this with you guys is this. And again, I want to hear more from Will. I apologize. And that is, you know, there's some unanswered questions. Will, you were saying, by all means, elaborate on this. You were saying, well, if this is the case, yeah, they pick BTC because that's the trust layer, and we get that, like institutions already gone with it and so on. Freaking slow tech, right? The most expensive meme token out there as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I think it's a fair analogy.
The rollout of the ISO 20022 standard starts tomorrow. So what does that mean? Well, if you want to understand it better, you can go over to impel.global and send your own ISO compliant message, just like this. Click the drop down and then click on our offerings and the link for self-paced ISO 20022 demo. You fill out your first name, your last name, your email, and if you represent a bank. They send you this link. You click the link. You fill out all this information right here, which we'll skip through. You can attach collateral to the message. I chose XDC as my settlement. Then you can check on the status of your request from the drop down at the top. Here's a list of the demo transactions. Hopefully that's helpful for those of you who hear ISO this, ISO that, and don't know what to make of it. And no, there are no coins that are ISO compliant, but you can enclose digital assets in the financial message. Like and follow for more.
If you're not aware of it, some of you guys are, some of you aren't, but I think this flew past a lot of people's heads. Impel adds Bitcoin to ISO 222 financial messaging on XDC network. Now, we are talking about BTC, and I will come back in the frame to talk about this for just a brief bit. Why? Well, because I want you guys to understand this. I hold BSV, and I would love to see, of course, BSV be selected as far as being the one that's going to do 1 million plus TPS, you know, Terranode and things like that. But basically, it's like this. I want you guys to understand that there'll be a period before, let's face it, if and when that happens. But what about when we talk about the trust? BTC, whether we like it or not, definitely does have the trust. So the thing is this, ISO 222 messaging on XDC network, well, we've had examples in the past in regards to ISO 222 would be selected, or I should say the collateral would be XDC. Well, what about BTC part of the mix? In my opinion, this is an absolute bombshell. How so? Well, it's basically like this. Let's jump down to this. It's Impel's role with ISO 222 and even XDC. New cross-chain interoperability via WAN bridge provides more robust options for instant settlement. Think about this, everybody. Instant settlement. Again, I'm coming back in the frame because You can't do instant settlement for BTC. It moves 2 to 7, TPS. At least you can on their layer 1. Maybe you can on layer 2. But is that the case with ISO 222? Again, this gets interesting. So as you see, Impel, at least then, announced that BTC had been added to that list. And, having the whole thing of API as a collateral, or option, I should say, for collateral making, for payments. In addition, this enables BTC to be used in instant settlement process for traditional banking services and other organizations that utilize the ISO 222 messaging standard. So we see what's coming here on the near horizon, everybody, when it comes to all this. But again, where do we have this role? And how is it all going to happen? And would XDC definitely be the one that would stand out? I think the answer is yes. Now, getting further into this, it's the whole idea that the technology in itself lies in the broad range of techniques that allow different blockchains to communicate with each other. Again, think about that. Transfer digital assets and data between one blockchain and another is referenced as cross-chain compatibility. Interoperable bridges play a crucial role in providing that. So, where do we go from here? Does it mention XDC? It does. Through this collaboration with Demo and WANchain, and again, pay attention to WANchain, Impel's user base can move BTC from its native network to the XDC network as a wrapped digital asset called XBTC, referred to as an XRC20 token. That sounds crazy, right? But both Demo and WANchain aim to make the blockchain ecosystem completely interoperable, one bridge at a time. So again, when we talk about one bridge at a time, and we talk about one ledger, well, what about one shared ledger? We see this bridge between the Bitcoin and XDC networks as an important step in creating real-world interoperability in the blockchain ecosystem. My goodness. So true DeFi is interoperable. I've talked about this before, but not to this depth. The M10's ledger, if you're not aware of it, is a custom practical Byzantine fault-tolerant ledger. Without getting too nerdy about this, understand that it is capable of processing 1 million plus payment transactions per second. Not up to 1 million plus, not up to 1 million, but literally 1 million plus. So could it get scale from here? I think the answer is yes, but still that's incredibly impressive. Again, from what we've seen in the past, the only thing that would come in this particular realm would be something like BSV. So my concept again is to own both, but again, I'm not complaining about 1 million TPS. I think it's going to more than get it done. So, all right, we can see how this comes together. We're not going to get too much into that, but again, it's these particular statements. And if you're wondering, where does this come from? Actually comes again from a particular screenshot from the bits. Taking more further into this, I got to shrink this down just a tad bit. I want to put some more emphasis again on the material and why it matters. So, if you're not aware, a turnkey system. I know this is someone's verbatim, but you need to understand this. So for a turnkey system, M10 has developed a core system with 6 components needed to run a CBDC or modern payment system. Each of the components serves as an essential function, as horizontally scalable based on its load. All right. Well, in the center, you see some of the, again, terminology, and on this area, I'll blow this up for you, because you see 2 areas: the bank administration client application software development kit, and also that mobile client application software development kit, SDK. All right, where does the ledger come involved? Well, talking to the API gateway. Well, it's safe to say that when it comes to quant and the overledger, their role. And we'll get into some of these other coins and tokens, I promise. But identity management, again, understanding that at the core of that ledger, 1 million TPS, 1 million plus. And here's your aha moment. I'll blow this up a little bit more. It's this area about the service module coming from external data, messaging, sanctions, ISO 222, etc. Higher level architecture. So ISO 222, that's interesting. And we'll get into why, again, that is so interesting, because when we go over to this m10.io white paper of the M10 on page 28 of 28, you see plain as day that there's key benefits in regards to the M10 solution. Number one, control of M0 money. Again, code for central bank money. And that's supplied by the central bank and M1 money by commercial banks. Will this lead to high transaction throughput of 1 million plus TPS? Yes. Will that handle sustained peak payment volumes? Yes. Let's talk about that for a brief moment. Because again, you know, I, as in Max of Maximus Crypto, have to have the same user experience as Alice and Jesse and Bob and Frank and Mike and, you know, Tim and Tommy and all those other particular people. One user can't be throttled because if they are, then what about others? And what about other people at peak volumes? We can't have these oh crap moments happening all the time. If anything, look at Solana. It does go down. But this is the big money moving forward. As we get more into this, I want you to see here that it's all about real-time payments, entering things like Ripple XRP, Stellar XLM, Hedera, etc., Algorand, but it's the settlement of equities in milliseconds. Share ledger access and connectivity between financial institutions, data privacy protection. Again, think about quant and then security, things like that. But again, emphasis on the bottom part about extensible platform to connect, think about the platform and the connection with external services. ISO 222. For me, it's that orchestration of how that comes together. We edited it out some key areas to bring you guys focus. But with that said, just briefly, Will, your thoughts in regards to this condensed presentation about BTC, now 2000 plus TPS, obviously through XDC, and to scale to over 1 million plus TPS because of the direct partnership of XDC and the Bank for International Settlements and collateralizing obviously XDC and settling in XDC through a wrapped BTC on their particular network.
So it's huge value added for XDC. And not to mention, I mean, look what that does for Bitcoin. It actually changes the entire scenario around Bitcoin. Like I had said earlier, many people are not very positive on Bitcoin because they see it so slow. What, 7 TPS? Very expensive, very slow. They also see it as basically a meme coin. It doesn't have much of a use case. And all of those things are now untrue, which it's hard to do a brain reset on that. It's now Bitcoin can be sent at the speed of anything else, and it can borrow ISO compliance from XDC doing so. So it's opened up Bitcoin in such a way that it's hard to rethink about it. I've had such registered in my mind. I've not been a Bitcoin maxi thinking it's going to go to $1 million. That some people suggest that, and some suggest it's going to be probably 200,000 maybe this bull run. Well, now it will forever have use. That's a huge change in how you think about Bitcoin. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it is. But for me as an investor, I look at it from the point of view, and I don't know why a lot of people don't do this. Shout out to our friend, right, Michael Cornwell. He pointed this out. So it's like if my entry point, let's say for example, was $100,000 BTC, right? Even just to go to 200,000 for one full BTC, and we understand you can own a fraction of it, but for one full one, that would only be a 2x. Okay, talk about the supply and demand for what? XDC. That creates even that much more value for XDC. So when we talk about those X's on that multiplier, if you will, long term, to me, the better opportunity for not just a 2x, a 10x, start adding that up, 100x, has to be Zinfin's XDC. But whatever the case be, I get it. Some people look at BTC as, yeah, that's your new savings account. Maybe that's the topic that we should end on. So, with that said, We do appreciate you guys listening to this more condensed version of those videos. All three will have an end card at the very end of this video where you can listen and learn about the key connections and, again, getting into the real weeds of it all. On behalf of myself, Will Fix, and so on, really appreciate you guys listening to these videos. And with that said, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
See you next video.
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. It's just a few taps. You can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure. Hey guys, I just want to point out something real quick in regards to Uphold with you guys. A lot of you guys are familiar with Uphold or heard about it, but if you're brand new to all this and don't have an account, basically there's some benefits. It benefits me, it benefits you. This is a win-win. But one thing I want to point out to really pound it home with Uphold is, for example, XDC. As we know, with XDC, a lot of us have to jump through the hoops of like KuCoin, use a VPN to kind of get around things. This is American-based exchange with Uphold. You don't have to do that. You can get your XDC here, and yeah, not having to deal with that is a great thing. You could also get XRP here. Again, American-based exchange. There's a refer and earn. Bottom line is, if you deposit $100, I get 20, you get 20. It's a win-win for both of us. And of course, that's in BTC, but again, you can swap that to any of these particular altcoins. Another benefit of Uphold is, unlike Coinbase, they're not going to freeze your assets at the height of a bull run. And that's a really, really good thing, right? Nobody wants that. So check it out. Links are in the description if you would like to take advantage of the 20. And yeah, a win for both of us. How cool is that? Links in the description, both on the live and on the recorded. Thanks, guys. Over and out.